this is Sifu Sean Man, and welcome back to Wing Chun Chi Sau Tube. What I wanted to talk to you about today is something that we've been discussing at class recently, and we find it really useful. So hopefully if we can share this with you, you'll see the same as well. And what it was is that some of the beginner guys, and some of the more advanced people as well, they have times in their training where they're Chi Sauing and everything seems to have just stopped working, or they're struggling, or if you've not long started Wing Chun, it's not really working for you at that time. And we come up with a few things in order to create checks and balances, basically just things that you can keep in your head and you can say, right, am I doing this, am I doing that, and make sure that the basics are really being followed. And we put it down to three things. So what we say is we say elbows, we say angles, and then we also say intention. Now, elbows being the first one, and this is something that comes from my Sifu master Colin Ward. He has these 3 points that he always checks. And what he says is when you're rolling, make sure that your elbows are in the highest and lowest position. Yeah? Make sure any power or strength comes from the base of the elbow here, okay? And keep your hands relaxed until it's time not to be relaxed. So there are 3 really good points, and ever since I met Sifu and he said that to me, it's had a massive impact on my Chi Sau, and it certainly has on all my students as well. So that's the first one, is elbows. The second one is angles. Make sure that other than when you first start rolling in Chi Sau, try your best never to be straight on to the person that you're Chi Sauing with. The Chi Sau roll is constantly moving. You should constantly be moving as well. And I don't mean massive, exaggerated steps everywhere. What I mean is that, you should always be trying to step to an angle to offset yourself to your opponent, so their force is not going directly through you all the time. You can step to achieve it. You can just turn to achieve it. And sometimes if you pull the other person, you stay still, but you offset them and change the angle that way. So, if you're always making sure that your elbows are good, using Sifu's 1, 2, 3 check method, if you also always make sure that your angle is not just square on with your opponent, those 2 things are really going to help you. And finally, the last one was intention. People talk about forward intention in Wing Chun all the time, and different people have different opinions, and you can't end up saying that one way that you think what I say today is 100% the only way you can do it, because in different lineages they have different approaches. But I know the way we do it and how well that works, so that's what I'm sharing with you today. When we talk about intention, forward intention, we're talking about a few things. We're talking about having the elbows engaged with the person that you're Chi Sauing with. And what that means is that you do have a slight pressure, between you and your opponent. Nothing extreme, just enough. For us, when you see people pushing forward constantly, we won't do this, because that's not, for us what we're trying to say by forward intention. We don't want to commit ourselves to what we're doing, but we definitely want to make sure our elbows are engaged with our opponent's arms so we can react correctly to whatever it is they do. Also, when we talk about forward intention, for us, instead of it being physical, we're not always pushing forward like this, and we're not leaning forward or even leaning backwards and doing it like this. So, as well as it not being physical, we are also talking about intention, as in what we have in the mind. Our intention, our focus in the mind is always that if our hand becomes free, it must go forward. And that's the Lut Sau Jeet Kune element when you're rolling Chi Sau. So if your arms are engaged with someone else's arms, you have just enough energy in there to hold your arm up and to stop them from just taking advantage of you, but nothing too much. Not loads of energy being used there, and you're not going to commit yourself by leaning into it or pulsing energy like this. But we are going to have enough to make sure that position is covered and your arm is sticking to your opponent's arm. In terms of mental intention, we are going to be aware that if at any point our arm becomes free, you know, that it must shoot forward towards the centre. And in that way, we're always ready to let our attack fire off without being too strong in our movement. You know, we're not always just smashing the arm out the way or pulling it out the way. We're also trying to let our hands search forward for the gap constantly. So those three things, elbows, angles and intention, that's a really, really easy way to just constantly check on your own development, make sure you're doing the things you need to do to keep the basics there, and hopefully to keep you, you know, enjoying your Chi Sau progress and development. So I genuinely hope it helps you guys. It certainly has helped me, and it's helped my students as well. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Take care, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Thank you.